Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jacob and today we're having a look at the brand new on August 1st 2025 mini modular building system, which goes from here to here to this lamppost. Is the Oscorp set, retails for £112 in the UK. Here on the right we have a smaller building which is Peter Parker's Apartments, which is actually a remake of another set which we'll get into later if you've seen the thumbnail. And on the far right here, we have the Spider-Verse set from January, which also connects within this new mini modular system. Similar thing that they're doing with Diagon Alley and Harry Potter, they've done half modulars, I will say, of the Diagon Alley setup, but now they've done, similar to this, a micro scale, smaller version of Diagon Alley, so you can buy the individual sets as they release each year and expand. So hopefully Lego will continue this mini modular system for Marvel. I really love how this is turning out, and these aren't the only Lego Marvel buildings that have somewhat alluded to this system in the past. So here's everything a bit more closely. If you were to buy all three sets, that will be currently available from August 1st until they retire, whereas all the other older buildings that I showed in the thumbnail, they were released over the years as far back as 2013, so they go for more money on the aftermarket. But today, for this part of this video, we're looking at these buildings and then we'll connect the others afterwards. I think this looks absolutely fantastic together as a street corner. Now, I do know the official design of Oscorp is meant to be like more of a corner design, but I've put it all as one connected street. But I do have some issues right at the gate with this new system, and let me know if you spot this right away in the comments. That's something that really sticks out, that doesn't allow this to flow as naturally as you would like. So first things first, if you were to buy these sets, there is a vehicle included in each set. So this is the PDNY police car, which is a really cool build. We've taken a closer look at this in its own video when I reviewed it back at the start of the year. But yeah, it's quite a substantial build compared to the other two, considering this set is retailing for the same price as Peter Parker's Apartments and you get a much larger vehicle, but you do get an extra floor on this set. And speaking of that vehicle in that set, this is by far the worst. It's a little spider crawler. It's got a little sticker which uses the same slope piece as the Goblin gliders from both of the sets. Take one of these bikes, that's very reminiscent of the Venom, Captain America and Black Widow bike that we've got on. Yeah, I'd rather had another one of them, at least they kind of uniform each other. The vehicle's out of the way, you can see it is quite tall. Oscorp itself, so this is the tallest structure of all of it. But so the set's disconnected. So you've got first the Spider-Verse set, which is pretty good. I love this set. I'm so happy that we didn't have to wait too long for more of the system that they introduced here to be included. So you've got some technical pins there, and on the back as well, if you wanted to connect it from that side. Top, you've got like the modular system where they use these pieces, tile pieces and studs, so you can connect something to the top of this, but we'll have a look and see if we can do that later. And then this is the brand new unreleased, at the time recording this video, the Peter Parker's Apartments set. So yeah, it's pretty good, but nothing screams Marvel Comics to me about this set. I mean, you've got the Daily Bugle reference, blah blah, webbed J. Jonah Jameson face with a classic comic, newspaper #1 and stuff like that. Yeah, pretty cool reference. But as I said before, so this one does disconnect. So you've got the same type of stud system. So you can stack the Peter Parker's Apartments on top like we was expected. But they could have included like a little balcony piece or something that goes up here and you could just swap it around like they do with the Creative Expert sets. Because now you just got this door that walks out into, it's quite a drop. That's what it looks like if you were to connect it like this to the side, and you could remove this and attach this to the top if you wanted to, which then makes this look incomplete and doesn't look quite as good. But you can see the street sign there. It flows a little bit, but it doesn't really make sense. So here is Oscorp on its standalone base. So you've got 3 buildings essentially, which you can take apart, plus an extra street bit, so that you can remove this part, like so, which I don't think this pin was supposed to come out. You can look at Oscorp on its own. It is its own complete building, which is really cool. It doesn't really disconnect, you're not supposed to, because you put all these tile pieces down the side of the building to keep it all connected. But yeah, you've got a really cool sticker here of Green Goblin Overload, which It's meant to be Harry Osborn, this version of the Goblin, from a certain new comic line, which I'm not too familiar with myself, but it's not Norman Osborn and he's not meant to be really a bad guy per se. You've got a nice big sticker here for Oscorp, which is kind of cool, I guess. You've got a really cool play feature. I mean, you get the idea, he's meant to like swim round. It looks kind of cool, but yeah. You've also got a clear element here, which you can attach. It looks like on the interior. So you've got a bunch of references. We'll go into more detail when I do my separate review of this set. So what you could do is you could remove the Peter Parker's apartment set. If you take that piece off and put that there a minute. So you can have these two next to each other if you really wanted to. So the problem that I point out is that, so most of the other streets have like a little bit of sidewalk. It may be only 2 studs, but they have a bit of sidewalk. The other 3 buildings, and even this pavement, has its own whole bit. But these two, and this set is standalone as well, has no pavement. They couldn't even put a plate here to extend it so it goes onto the street. But like I showed you earlier, maybe it's meant to be attached to the top of the Spider-Verse set. But again, I'm not sure if that's really ideal, because you've got the door, but then there's 2 studs here, so you could maybe, I don't know, make a balcony out of a web piece or something, I don't know, but yeah, it's just weird. And then Oscorp itself also doesn't flow along the street, because you've got this big sliding door function, which is nice and all, but again, it could have just used another layer of 2 studs just to come out of here, because it just completely breaks the system before they've even begun. These are the only 3 sets that are in this new system. Just to set in its official connection points, which it shows you on the back of the box. So you have a little corner bit going around here with the mini mart, which looks really cool. And then you have the end of this street. And then what you could do, you could connect it here and make like a square if you wanted to. Because it does, see look, this is the problem. Look, you've got this big gap here. If this set had just included a piece to go along here, it would look so much better. Take a look at the other 3 slightly smaller buildings. So this building here, the mini mart, which is Eddie Brock's apartment / Venom. It's not modular part here, which is the jewelry shop with Miles Morales' apartment. It does disconnect. So you've got a modular system here. Connect this, and we can disconnect this. All right, so we have 5 little segments. And you could stack this on top of, okay, it doesn't work. So because of this play feature, which breaks a window, you've got to have this street sign piece. If I move these to the side so you can see it better. So you can see here, this little lip stops you from putting this particular module on top of here, because you've got this weird curve out bit. So that sticks out, as you can see there. It's got the extra little bit of balcony, which the actual door needed. But yeah, so because of that play feature for the jewelry heist, you can't actually stack. You could actually do this. So you could have the Miles Morales apartment set, which matches the same red brick design, and this is actually his apartment, because you've got his little art gallery bit and his bed, and you have the play feature, of course, of place Gwen in here, have her drop in on him like she does in the film. I think this looks great. It really completes the look of this deli. It gives it a nice cap on the roof. But then you leave yourself with nothing for this. But what you could do is you could take this, the original bit back on, because this piece doesn't allow you. But this bit, see, they've kind of thought of it here, so it's a little bit higher. But this is probably why it doesn't have a ground bit. So if you connect this and this I would say is the best configuration. I mean, you could swap the smaller building and swap it over, but then you don't get to see the J. Jonah Jameson large sticker. I remove this. You can't see this very well if you put these 2 buildings next to each other. So that's why I have done it like that. And now we have a almost fully complete sidewall. And then I put the traffic light on the other end, just because it rounds out corner to corner. So that's all 3 sets connected. And I definitely highly recommend doing this. Now that I actually have gone through this myself, like the dark red brick and dark red brick here was probably the dead giveaway that these 2 were supposed to be connected like this. And then the only bit, of course, I don't like is the door being loose, and then the no 2 studs connection for Oscorp. But I think Lego wanted to keep them all the same depth, so that way if you put this on the shelf or add some road plates in front of this. I think we are going to be getting these in the near future over the next couple of years, because the Daily Bugle is retiring this year. But we also got a Daily Bugle in 2013, which is one of my favourite Lego Marvel sets of all time and was what got me into the theme. But then you could have this, so you could have like a little alleyway bit, and look at the two stud connections there. Okay, it's not dark grey like the rest, and you could add some bricks to like put the Technic connections there if you really wanted to, because this one has to be on the end because it's got no studs here for the fire escape, which also came with a little trash can, so that could kind of help gauge it out a bit. We have looked on this set at this set on the channel when they did the modular, so you could have it like this, or you could have it completely enclosed, and you sat this on the base plate, you had like a modular building. You have some Technic bricks there and there, which is really cool. Because it was originally designed to connect this little corner section here, which is missing its trash can. I do apologise for that. Already, okay, the street path isn't consistent, but because of this little element, it allows us to do this. So you can have Oscorp and the Phantom take this set as well. Okay, there's no Technic pins, but look how much cooler that is. Look how huge, that is an incredible system. You could even use this if you wanted to somewhere. But this set connects a lot better to this system because it already has the Technic pins there to a degree. Okay, like I say, it doesn't follow the same flow, but it still looks really cool. And also, they've done other Marvel buildings. So they did this £20 little bank set from Spider-Man Homecoming, which you could have on the end, because it is dark grey, so it flows with the same studs. Now this is getting quite large. Luckily my table is big enough to do this, but have the Daily Bugle go behind it. A whole mini modular system. But as I say, you can't buy all these sets anymore, but they will probably release a mini Daily Bugle because the larger one's retiring in 2025. They'll probably release another one of this because I believe the modular for this is retired now as well. So they'll probably remake this and make this one cohesive system. But we also got in 2015 the old Avengers Tower, which does look quite dated to today's standards. But if you wanted to, you could have this set in the background. But it's not quite a good towering presence, is it? It's just a random A. You can do that. Or I believe it's 2020 or 2019 Avengers Tower, which you can see there how tall it is. And then I customised it by adding this Lego City set, which is quite old, underneath it. But we could have a Avengers Tower mini modular. When the larger modular building actually retires, they'll probably remake one in this scale as well. Now, you've got your own mini modular Marvel Street, which looks really cool. If you've been collecting Lego Marvel for a while, this is something that you could definitely do with the new sets releasing, if you're planning on buying them, that is, because it is quite an expensive endeavour, £45 plus £112, but there will be sales on these sets. I highly recommend getting the Oscorp set, so one day we can get a modular version of it. That's going to do it for this video, guys. I look forward to more reviews and comparisons, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.